back to the Inflorescence podcast. My name is Bree, and I'm joined today by Lexie and Alex. Just going to give you guys a second to introduce yourselves, let everyone know anything you want them to know. We'll go from there.
Ladies first.
All right. I'm Lexie. I've known Bree for probably like 2-3 years now. We met through Instagram. Just kind of literally, we were like, oh, let's be friends. And we decided to be friends.
Right.
I'm 22. I live on Long Island with my boyfriend, Alex. We have 6 indoor cats, and that's all I can think of at the moment.
I'm Alex Tilinca. I'm 20 years old. I live on Long Island, if you couldn't guess that yet. I'm a competitive bodybuilder. I'm a gym-sponsored athlete, and I'm here because I was politely asked to join this podcast, and it'd be my pleasure.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, guys. So the main gist of this podcast is going to be a discussion on fitness and mental health. I don't know if this is something either of you know, because I kind of deleted everything, but I competed as an amateur boxer about 2 years ago. So that was heavy. Like, I don't know the bodybuilding discipline, but I assume it's the same, if not more disciplined in competition. It very severely impacted my mental health. Not in like a negative way, but in a way like I realized I definitely shouldn't have been doing it until I had figured out like kind of the reason why I went into it in the first place. I literally stopped boxing after my first real fight because I got knocked out, and I just gave up. I was like, I can't do it. Like, I couldn't risk losing, and it sucked. But I've grown out of that. Thankfully, I realized that, like that happens, but that's the learning curve of like, okay, I should have waited to go into it, but now it's like I don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely like for me a correlation. If I'm not in a good mental spot, my training will definitely suffer. Like it even shows like I think there's a whole physiological like aspect to it. Like your body, like where your mind goes, so does your body. So I noticed like if I'm in a bad mental space, like I'm definitely holding water. Like I'm just don't have the energy. I noticed that like when I handle stress really well overall, but like there's definitely moments when I feel like very overwhelmed. And bodybuilding is so encompassing. It's a lifestyle. Like it's literally like year round. Like it's all day, every day. So like that on top of everything else I do, sometimes it can get like a little bit overwhelming. That being said, for me, like overall, like I love bodybuilding. Like it gives me a sense of like control over my body. Pretty much, that's the way I like to put it. But that being said, it's very easy, especially having social media and stuff, to like see other competitors and stuff like that, and like compare yourself to them and be like, oh damn, like I should be there. But then you have to keep in consideration of like age difference, how long we've been doing it. I mean, I'm a trans man, so just like physically I transitioned when I was 16, and I'm 20 now. So I mean, if you're born a man, you have about 15 years on me of just male development and bone density and stuff like that. So it's all things like I have to always like keep in consideration. Like I also have like I have a coach that's like literally like my best friend almost. Like I always say he's like my second dad or like my uncle. So
He's literally like a dad to Alex.
Yeah. Awesome. He's always like, yeah, he's my coach, but he's also like, like I can talk to him about like more emotional stuff, and like he understands because he competes too, which is obviously helps. But overall, I definitely say that like again, like where your mind goes, your body goes. So if your mind isn't there, then your body will never follow.
Yeah, definitely. And I was in school when I started, I was already training to be a therapist when I was boxing. So I thought that I was fine. Like I was like, I'm good. Like when I was training, I felt fine. I like literally had never felt more powerful, but like I wasn't ready for the downside of that. Like I was cool with being like hyped up, and I was cool with working out every day for hours. But when it came down to like, you're not always going to be feeling that way, I wasn't ready for it. I was working out at a, one of those like CKO boxing gyms where it's really anybody could do it. And my coach had come up to me and asked me to box. And I was like, okay, cool. Like I thought it would be an interesting thing to do. I literally had never been in a physical fight before. So I wasn't really expecting, anything out of it. I was just thinking, okay, I'm going to get like very fit and I'm going to feel great about myself. And I did. But as soon as I lost, like, all of that went away. I didn't work out for months. It took me forever to get back into it. And when I did get back into it, I was just like, I couldn't get back into the rhythm. I was being like spoken at, like, you should keep fighting, you shouldn't give up. And I didn't know how to like stand up for myself in a way. So is there like a good communication with your coach of like, I'm not ready to go to that part, or like I haven't, I don't feel like my goals have been reached, so I don't want to push myself.
Yeah, I mean, actually, I was going to compete this summer, but my body was like literally like breaking down. I was almost hospitalized and stuff. Because again, like what we do to our bodies and like bodybuilding is very extreme. So I literally like just took the mature approach. I was like, listen, Jason, like I don't think like my body just was really fighting me. And I was like, I'm young, I'm 20, like I have time. Like I don't think it's like for me, like I realized I was like, if I don't take a like small step back, I will burn out and start
Mhm.
hating that. And like that's the last thing I want to do because I love what I do. So like I was like, I'll rather take a small step back, be more patient with myself, and then actually continue to bodybuild because that's why, at least in my sport, like a lot of people will go really hard for like 3 4 years and then just completely quit because they just like have absolutely no flexibility or like any type of like moderation. It's like all or nothing year round, 100% on diet. And like I stay on my diet, but like I'll definitely like eat off of it in my off
Mhm.
season. I don't go crazy. But like, I'm not gonna like I think people are just way too hard on themselves, like when it's unnecessary. And I think that comes from like many different reasons. And then even like, like going back to what you were saying about like that anticipation of getting in the ring and boxing, like it's kind of similar in bodybuilding. Like there's this anticipation to get on stage and compete, but once you do, there's kind of like an adrenaline dump. And like a lot of competitors will like go through like a weird like kind of funk because it's like, well, I was working towards this goal for like months on end. It was literally my life, and now it's over. Like now what? And that's why a lot of bodybuilders, they just, when they're in prep, they're awesome, they're in a good mental spot. But if they're not in prep, they're like all over the place in a mess because there's that anticipation of like getting on stage. And that applies to like a lot of things in life. Like you can even look like pregnancies and stuff like that. Like there's that anticipation towards the pregnancy. Once it happens, it's like, okay, now what?
Mhm.
So I think it's just like an adrenaline dump. um I can't speak for you, obviously we all have our different reasons,
Right.
but at least for me, like what helped and what always helps is like reminding myself, to like always try and I try and take my emotions out of it and think like logically, like, okay, like logically, what is the best option for me? Like there's always multiple options. And like if I do this, I know myself, like I'm just gonna stop. So like let me just, for me, I had to take a step back this summer from competing. I'm definitely gonna compete again. But for me, like I'm a college student, I'm a double major. So for me, it's like I wasn't gonna be able to do college, be a coach, compete. Like I just like I can't do all of that at the same time. So for me, it's
Mhm.
just like balancing out, like kind of giving bodybuilding my 85% right now, and then spreading more so in other aspects of my life. That being said, Lexie helps me out on a daily, so that's been a great help. She's the best.
I
So
do what I can.
I think having like a support system helps, and like someone that like understands you and how you function and like what helps you mentally and physically.
Yeah, definitely. And like Lexi, to give you a second to also, I
Yeah.
want to know like how you feel getting back into the gym, because now I see you like, doing your thing. And I don't know if you've done it before because we had never spoken about it, but like, how does it feel now to be in the gym again?
Yeah, so I actually used to go like every single day. I wouldn't even give myself a rest day. Like I wasn't doing it correctly.
Mhm.
I was just going into the gym and doing what I felt like doing that day. And that's just not how you're going to see progress. And then I got hurt a little bit in the gym and I stopped going for a little bit because it hurt to do anything. And then once I healed, COVID came and it kind of just threw me out of going to the gym because obviously I wasn't going to do that. But when I moved with Alex, I mean, there is really no way around it. Like you're gonna go to the gym. Like
I don't
he
force
he
it.
does not force me to go to the gym at all. But like I want to spend time with him, and that's something I really did enjoy doing. But he shows me how to do it the right way. And now that like I'm being consistent, I see progress, and it really helps with my mental health in the fact that it gives me little goals to reach, and it gives me confidence boost because I can see, oh, I'm putting effort into something and I'm seeing results from it. So I think it really helped me mentally when it comes to feeling good about myself, getting active. Like I used to just like, well, my job used to be very physically demanding. I was a housekeeper and I was on my feet nonstop. And then I would come home and I would just sit in bed, chill. But like, I wasn't happy with how my body didn't look like how I wanted it to look. Not saying like I looked bad. It was just more of like, I feel like I can tone myself. I feel like I can make myself look healthier. Like I was under eating and I'm even eating more because working out makes me hungrier, and like it just overall helps with a lot of things. It helps me sleep too because I exert all my energy and I can actually get to rest. So I just think it overall helped me in a lot of ways.
That's awesome. And just like you kind of have like Alex was saying, you kind of have to have somebody in your corner who knows you, and like you have a personal coach there who spends so much time with you. So I think that's awesome. And you know, that kind of brings me into a question of, Alex, you said that your coach is like a father figure to you, and I'm just wondering if you've ever had experiences, maybe another coach or somebody else who you looked up to who didn't fit what you were looking for.
Yeah, so pretty much my coach's name is Jason. I've been with him since I started bodybuilding. I reached out to a couple other coaches when I first started, and I kind of just set it up straight. I was like, I'm I'm sorry, not 16, 18. I was like, I'm 18 years old. This my cat. Uh,
Ollie.
um, I was like, I'm 18 years old. I want to get my IFBB Pro card. I'm also trans. Hope that's cool. And like, I just said it exactly like that. Here's what I look like. And I had a couple coaches that they didn't. It wasn't even like a trans issue. It was more so like they didn't know how to handle me hormonally and like food wise and training wise, because there's really not many trans competitors. And they were just like, listen, like it's nothing personal or like a value based thing. I just don't feel comfortable helping you from a hormonal aspect. I'm like, okay, that's fine. Like, I appreciate the honesty. And I reached out to Jason, and Jason, being the cocky little guy he is sometimes, was like, bet, yeah, let's do it. Like, I want to help you. Like, you're a challenge for me. Like, I don't really get challenged much anymore. And I was like, okay, like, interesting answer, but and we like, from there, I think I stopped working for, I think I stopped working for him like not even like 3 weeks, just because I was like 19 and I wanted to like explore my options. And I was like, there was a couple coaches that trained really, really big guys. And I was just really impatient. So I was like, oh, like, let me see them. Like, maybe I can grow faster with them. Yeah, they did it terrible by me. Like, literally, like, I was like, they're all hype. No, like, action behind them. Like, they have big names. I'm not going to say the names just because, like, I think that's not appropriate.
Right.
But, like, I worked with some pretty big name coaches that coach big name bodybuilders, and so does Jason. But I just was curious, and yeah, like it just wasn't the same. The connection wasn't there. They didn't understand my body like Jason does, or like he again. I was working for. I really went through puberty with him, so like he knows how I function emotionally too, which I think is really important. So yeah, for me, like my support system has really always, when it comes to bodybuilding, been like Jason, my coach. He's really been there with me from like day one. And when I told him that I wanted to be the first trans guy to like win my pro card, he never like put the idea down. He was like, okay, let's do it. And like I like that. Like that's the kind of, like, I believe in myself, so I want to be with someone that believes in me too.
Right. Yeah, definitely. And I guess somebody who doesn't like have expectations for you that are like not reachable, and not wanting too much out of you and letting you take your time to.
He definitely like planted me down a little bit, because I was like, yeah, like I want my pro card by like 21. He's like, that's not gonna happen, but you'll get it. I'm like, oh, okay. So he definitely like grounds me a little bit, and like he's taught me like the value of like patience, and like this sport, like you don't really retire until like you can literally compete into your 50s.
Mhm.
So he just like, I was very like gung-ho at first, like whatever, like I'll do anything. I'll eat anything. I'll eat dirt. I just want my pro card. Like, he was like, all right, calm down, buckaroo. Like, you have time. Like,
No, I swear if Jason said, Alex, I need you to eat 1 cup of dirt a day, he'd be like, all right, let's go.
Yeah. But again, like for me, like I think it also, like, the reason why I'm like this is because like I've been very great. Like, I've been very blessed in my life that my transition, I started so young, and I was really like, my whole transition was so smooth sailing, and that is definitely not the case for most transgenders.
Mhm.
I kind of feel like, not like it's an obligation, but it's like my duty to, like, do that for the community, and like, you know, be there for those that like aren't as lucky as I was and have similar dreams as me, but unfortunately because of various reasons they can't do that. So it'd be like a waste if I didn't take that opportunity.
Yeah, no, definitely. And like personally, I know maybe a handful of trans bodybuilders, not on a personal level, but on social media, and I assume there's only a few dozen of them compared to the hundreds of thousands, I assume, of straight men and also women bodybuilders out there. So it's cool that you're like helping pave this path of coaches and people who can understand and really help trans men reach their goals and in fitness and kind of in anything else as well.
Yeah, thank you.
It's kind of like opposite. I went into it like not knowing anything. My coach was the one who was kind of like, here's a bunch of things that I want you to do, and I did it, and I didn't have a problem with it at all. But he definitely didn't understand me. He didn't treat me as the at the time 19-year-old person that I was trying to do something new. He kind of took it as, you know exactly what you're doing, you've done this before. Like that's how I felt he was treating me. So it gave me a lot of confidence, but it sucked. He put me in a position that was very dangerous. And this is going to sound insane, I trained for 6 months before stepping into a ring, and that should never happen. I was sparring
Yeah,
after a month of training one-on-one, and that's just like, it's really stepping on the gas, being like, hey, I'm going to put you in this position where I had my nose busted twice right before my fight, still went into the fight. So it's kind of like you need to have somebody in your corner who has those boundaries and doesn't just want to see. I think honestly, it was like a power trip for him because he hadn't trained someone in a while, and he took it as this huge opportunity to kind of like, here's a new person that I can throw in a ring and like maybe have do some really good shit. And wasn't at all what happened. And after I lost, I kind of like blocked him on everything because he was just constantly telling me to get back to working out. Let's do it again. There's another fight next month. And I was just like, I can't do it. Like, you're not understanding that. I
right.
unfortunately made the mistake of going back to him and tried again. But like, you really need to have somebody who knows you and knows your limits and has boundaries themselves.
Right. In my opinion, you're better off like working with yourself than with a bad coach, because at least you know yourself, better
Right.
than people. So I'm very sorry that happened to you. Seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was insane. It's a learning process, like I mentioned just earlier. It strengthened me, and now I know my limits better. I've talked about it in therapy too, and it's been a conversation of like, when do I even I if my cats were in here, they'd be doing the same thing, to be honest with you.
That's please let us know. I don't know if it's purring.
No, I can't hear the purring at all. So you're good. It was totally just like a shock of speaking to my therapist, being like, I don't even want to step foot into a gym again. Like that's how devastating that was for me. And I was working out with a personal trainer, a different personal trainer, which again was another horrible experience of just haven't had luck finding good people. But that really takes such a big toll on you. It takes a toll on your body physically and your mental health, because you're kind of like, nobody really knows me. Nobody wants to see me succeed. They just want to like basically get money out of me, type of thing.
Mm. Yeah, and I agree. And that's why, like, I really don't know anything about boxing. I'm very like single-minded,
Right.
but I'm assuming there's got to be a community around boxing too. So I would only assume, like, if you really feel that way, maybe, if you, like, there's nothing wrong with speaking out, like, politely, just being like, because at the end of the day, like, clearly like if they are like that, then they don't really feel remorse. So they'd most likely do the same thing again with someone else.
Right. And that was something huge actually, and into a whole nother piece of like kind of like the fitness world in general, not honing on any competitive aspects, but you'll reach people, you'll get in contact with people who will put you in those dangerous situations, and you have to like know who to speak to like save them from going through the same thing. So a few of the other women at the gym that I was going to had really bad experiences with him, and we all got together and we are like, are you guys feeling like the same weirdness, the same awkwardness? And we all put our foot down. I was like, okay, we're going to stop working with him. So it's like you have to help yourself. You also have to help other people if you, of course, you're like mentally capable of doing that, because that could be um, stressful for a lot of people. But you have to know, and you have to speak out against people not really knowing, you know, or not properly treating anyone. Um, and I don't know, do you guys both work out at the same gym? Do you work out at private places or more public gyms?
Yeah, we usually go to a gym. It's called Bev Francis Powerhouse Gym.
Okay.
It's a gym that's pretty much just like bodybuilders.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very intimidating when you go at first. It's a smaller gym, but everybody's so nice there just because of the community, and like everybody wants to help everyone. But then we also have another gym we go to sometimes if like we're in a rush, but we still got to get that workout in. Like we go to a gym called Unique that's like 20 minutes away. That one's really nice too. That one's more of, what is it, like a chain, right?
Yeah, Unique is like a smaller local chain. It's not like LA Fitness, that's like a more national chain, but
Mm-hmm.
have like good equipment and stuff. And like for the both of us, it's kind of like the environment that matters the most. So it's like a good environment. Like everyone's like actually training and like not on their phones. So it's like, like I think the environment is what makes the gym, and like the people in it.
You want to be around people that you can see are pushing themselves, so you push yourself too. You don't want to see like everybody just sitting on their phone, do a couple reps, sit on their phone.
Yeah.
That doesn't really motivate you at all,
Yeah, definitely. And that's why I feel like I haven't even found a new gym to go to since I moved. So that's like one of my big things too, is I want a community at a gym. I don't want to like, I hate working out by myself. I can't do it. It's just like I can't get into a good enough of a like I can't motivate myself to sit in a gym and do like, like I'll go in with a plan and I can't even finish it because I just get bored. I like having workout partners. Don't have one now, and that's totally fine because I was going to boxing classes or like fitness classes, and that was fine.
I would say let's look into like local gyms around your area to see like what's not really a chain. And most gyms have like, you can go in, they'll either give you a free day pass or it'll be like $10, $20 just to like test it out, see how everyone interacts. I think it's worth it to find the gym that's right for you.
Yeah.
Do you mind me asking what state you live in? I just know a lot of.
I'm in New York. Mm-hmm.
Upstate?
I'm in the Bronx.
Oh, you're in the Bronx.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot the name of it, but there is a gym on the outskirts of Queens. I don't know how deep Bronx you are in.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like another like hardcore like hole in the wall community-based gym kind of thing. So I will look into that for you if you'd like.
I appreciate that.
The name of it off the top of my head, but like when you said New York, I'm like, wait, I might know one.
I go to the Blink Fitness that's like down the corner. So I go maybe once a week, if not once a month. So like it's just, and it's also just not safe around here to, I don't drive down there. I have to walk, not safe enough to do that. And that's a whole nother conversation too of like, I identify as non-binary, so I, appear androgynous, but some people don't see that because I'm, a bigger person. I have, a bigger chest. And when I'm walking down to the gym, I get catcalled. And it's like, do you not see how I'm dressing? Do you not see, like, I don't want to like enforce the stereotypes of like and dressing androgynous, but like I'm clearly not, enhancing or like showing off the feminine parts of my body. So why am I being catcalled? And that goes into being inside the gym too. It like makes me uncomfortable of like, is anybody looking at me? And like, kind of like, people are like, don't look at me, don't like think anything of me type thing. That's what gets into my head of being into a gym like that. Everybody upstairs, I don't even go up there because they're all just hanging out. So it's like I don't have the community that I'm looking for. And I haven't found that in especially chain gyms, which I usually try to stay away from because of that factor. Like people go there and they think it's like a hangout spot. Not everybody does, but you'll see like, and it looks like it's a sense of community, but it makes you feel like there's like cliques, you know, kind of like in high school type thing. So I tend to stay away from them.
Right. It's more so like separation. It's not like just like one like unit of people.
Yeah, right. But yeah, so I kind of like went on a small ramble there and I lost track of what I was gonna say. I want to ask, you said earlier that you handle stress well, Alex and Lexie, you know, you spoke a little bit on how working out has been helping you as well, but what do you do outside of the gym that um fulfills the void of kind of like what do you do for self-care?
Honestly, for self-care, I hang out with Lexie.
We pretty much we pretty much honestly go to the beach like once a week to watch the sunset.
Awesome.
We like to do because we just sit there, clear our heads, like we're only focusing on the different colors. Like I skip rocks, he just kind of like chills on the blanket.
I can't skip, so there's no point. I'll look next to her. She's
I
a
can
master.
teach you. I'm not a master.
She's really good. She's being humble.
Anyway, but I don't know, we definitely like we get done when we have to get done, and then in order to stress we kind of just hang out and we'll watch like a mindless TV show that we don't really need to pay attention to, and we talk for like sometimes we'll just start a conversation and end up on the other side of the planet with our conversation in like an hour, and then we're like, all right, let's go do something, we'll come back. Like I don't know, we just like to talk to each other and hang out with each other.
Yeah, and we have like small little routines that we do. If it's not a college day, because I have to leave early to commute, like we'll
Mhm.
always make breakfast together. Or like, you know, it's just like doing small things here and there to like kind of break like just like the perpetual rhythm of like working to like, you know, just like reset kind of. But then we'll also like we either do really small things or like we'll go to like a music festival. There's like no in between for us. So like we don't do like casual things like going to the movies.
No, what were we gonna do that day?
Like we'll either do something that requires very minimal effort or we'll do something that requires a lot of effort. You know, there's no in between.
I don't remember. We were gonna do something very small. I don't remember what it was.
Well, we obviously ended up not doing it
Yeah,
because we don't do that.
and we ended up like not doing it. And Alex is like, "You want to go to Izu?"
Oh yes, we were supposed to go to a Pride in
Oh
Philly.
yeah, there was supposed to be Philly Pride, but it got canceled. And so like 2 days before Philly Pride, Alex was like, "Well, Izu is happening," and I was like, "Okay, bet."
So
So
we went to Izu.
we went to Izu, but like I don't know, we like to do a lot of things together, make memories, we have fun.
Yeah, we like doing like memorable stuff together, not just like, you know, I don't know,
Like this weekend we're going to golf ball
Nice.
that we're gonna go Friday and
on
Sunday.
Sunday.
And then Saturday, I'm probably just gonna like that's kind of how we balance our lives. Like we kind of just like work, but we'll take like the time. Like for example, one thing I do for myself, which is actually more recent, but like really recommend it for people, is like I could just keep going and going and going when it comes to like whatever, like classwork, clients, you name it. So like I always say like, okay, cap out 8:30. I don't care. You're dropping it. The world can wait. I put my phone on do not disturb. I literally do not pick up my phone. Like 8:30 down. It's like my time with Lexi and that's it, period. Like I don't care. Like
When I first moved in, he used to like answer his clients like 2 a.m. Like literally anytime they texted him, he'd be like, all right. And he's a good coach, but like I had to remind him, like, listen, like you need to have boundaries, you need to have you time. Because we'd be doing something, he'd be like, hold on, I'm talking to a client, and it'd be like midnight. And I didn't find a problem in it, but it was more so of like I felt like he was getting drained by it. And I just realized that like you need to have those boundaries for yourself. You need to take time for yourself. And like, yeah, work hard, play hard, whatever, but you need to take that time to just focus on yourself rather than constantly putting out your energy, because then you're just going to burn out.
Yeah, one thing Lexie really taught me is like quality over like quantity. Like I'm very like go personality. Like I just go, but then like you don't really find clarity like in madness. Like you have to like stay still for a second, like actually breathe, you know? So like for me, it was just like standing still for a second and like actually asking myself like, okay, what are my priorities in life? Like what is more important for me to focus on? Because like I can't give my 100% energy in like 8 different aspects of my life, you know? Like it's just no one can. It's physically impossible. So like what's important to me? And I was like, well, Lexi's important to me, my family's important to me, like my clients, and like having a successful future in bodybuilding. So like whatever else doesn't fit in that equation is like second for me, honestly. Like, and like my top is definitely like Lexie and my mom. Like I love both of them with all my heart. So like for me, that's like the most important thing. So like I always make sure that if anything, like all my actions are like I'm making sure I'm like, okay, is this gonna like benefit the 3 of us, or is it like a waste of my time, you know? So like I kind of like just like I think like it's important for everyone to just ask themselves like what's important to you in your life, and then from there like you'll find clarity and like be like, okay, this is like, you know, this makes sense for me, like and then like whatever doesn't make sense for you, like you can't please everyone. So
Yeah, totally. And that, I mean, I'm talking to you too. I'm like, wow, you really have your life together over there. Like, and it's something that I share even like with clients that I have, like treat your hobbies as a 9 to 5, or really anything you do as a 9 to 5 or like a part-time job, because you don't want to stretch yourself out too thin. Know when to put the phone down, know when not to respond to clients, know when to take some time just for you, know when you want to hang out with your family and your partners. Don't, you can't do everything, and most people know that, but some people don't. And when you have to really hone in and figure out, this is what I want to do for the majority of my day, and with the rest of it I'll figure it out. But you can't do everything at the same time. So know your boundaries, know your limits, and that's a huge thing to come out of this conversation.
I agree.
Yeah. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure to talk to both of you. If there's anything else you want to share, go ahead. If you want to share your social media accounts or anything that you want to put out there.
We have a couple TikTok. It's called Lexie and Alex. He made a really cute one today. But it's Lexie, the letter N, Alex. And he's being humble right now, but his Instagram is Alex Tilinca. And again, like trans bodybuilder, he does amazing things.
Thank you.
Definitely. But those TikToks, I look at every single one. Definitely a TikTok fan of the both of you. So I will be putting all your links in the show notes. So for anyone who wants to give them a follow, you will find everything there. But yeah, thank you so much for sitting with me and having these conversations, and it's been awesome.
Of course, thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Pleasure.